This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Last week we worked on getting this nav station started and glued in. This week we have an overall goal of finishing all of the salon furniture so that we can concentrate on the hulls in the future.
Yeah, we want to get this over with, and that way we can really get down those hulls and finish off those tanks and get that part done. And once that's all done, then we'll concentrate on the bow and all the work that goes up there, but we'll be closing in on finishing up the building of the boat now. There's a ton of other work to go besides building the boat. We have fairing and sanding and painting and electrical and plumbing and lots of stuff there. But we want to get this boat finished as far as the build by the end of this year. And so we're really working hard at getting that done. We've got about 7 more weeks, and I think we can get close to that. So that's our goal. But let's go ahead and get over to showing you what we accomplished this week. On Saturday, we laid out the House of Cards version of our table and found out where we need to fix things and such. And over here, we tried to change the plan because the plan had it straight up and down, and we want the back to be angled the same angle as the rest of these. As soon as we did that, that changed how it matched up here. For example, you can see we're going to have to cut off this little section there at the right angle, add a little triangle above it. Bunch of changes, and of course we also changed the length of the table here to get it out of the way of the compression post, and so that means we also have to change some of this to match all that. So we're making those modifications this morning. Okay, let's see how it fits now. Okay, so this piece goes here, like so. One more time with feeling. That looks better. All right, now that should fit in there, in the theory. That's right. Okay, so the next thing is to cut this one off here. And we have that whole thing. Okay, I can do that. That piece goes in there. So it's not just the angle that we change, we also have to raise it, so lots of fun here. We thought we were done making these rounded corners for the salon furniture, but I was wrong because we decided to put 2 curved entries into the table seating area. Now what we're doing is these are the risers we had to put on to get the seat high enough, because again, Shoni made these way too low. So we've got them all ready to go here, and we'll put them onto the seat walls. These are the parts that are down by your calf, and so we got all these over here ready to roll so that we can start assembling that daybed area. So we've got to get this stuff glued up before we can do that. We're here in the salon, and we're going to do something fun. Oh, what's fun? Fun is putting stuff in permanently, so that now it becomes part of the boat. So we've done a lot of work on the nav station. That's we showed you some of it, but there's always more that we don't show you. But a lot of sanding and a lot of fixing and rounding of sharp edges and bevels and all kinds of stuff to get it ready. This side, of course, is in already, but we're going to put in the other side over here right now. And once that is in here, we'll be ready to put the shelf in after that, and then the top can go down, and then the electronics panel can go on, and Bob's your uncle. So this is coming along very swiftly right now. So we're happy with that. This is going to take a lot of tweaking, though, to get all these pieces right. So we're going to get it all set as best we can. Then we're going to have to check it by putting the top on to make sure that the alignment is correct, and take the top back off again. So lots of things to do here. Brian's mixing right now, so I better get some gloves on. All right, so that covered wall, the corners on, and the beginning of the bench. Next thing we've got to do here is fix the back of the bench. There's some coring on the edge and filling that we got to do there. As soon as that's set up and done, we can glue that in and then start working our way into the seating area or daybed area, whichever you want to call it. And we've got a lot of that prepped already, at least started. So that should go fairly quickly. I would say this week we'll have that whole bench in there. And not a lot more to go on the nav station. We just have to put the shelf in that goes inside of there. We'll glue that in from the back side. And then we have to put, we're not going to actually glue it on anyway, but we'll build the electronics board, but that's not going to take much. So we just got to core the edges, which we already did, and fill it with epoxy, sand it up, and glue on the two supports on the ends. Now that we've got that nav station side all gluing up, we prepped all that and got it glued in. Now we're going to the next set of things and prepping all that for that. So what we have here is, this is the seat back on the port side of the table area, and it just turned out to be short. We don't know why, but it is. So we're going to add this piece on to lengthen it. This is one of the doors for the cupboard, so we're just adding in there. This is the electronics panel, and it has to have a fill along all edges since it's never going to be glued to anything, just a hinge on one edge. So we're going to fill all that in, and then this is one of the other doors for the nav station. So we're going to fill all the way around that one as well. So, oh, and one more. Over here we have our seat back on the starboard side of the table area, and so we've got a couple of areas that are exposed, so we're going to fill those two as well. So that's going to take a whole bunch of epoxy. So Brian's over here mixing again, and I've already got it all cleaned and peel plied down underneath so it doesn't stick to anything, that kind of stuff. And I'm just about ready to go, so I better get some gloves on and we'll get this done. Couple tools, one for Brian, although he'll be doing more mixing, so what I'll have him do is he'll squirt some of this first mix in, and then while I'm tidying it up, he'll mix another batch, because this is going to take a lot to do all of these. So we're doing it in 2 batches because we can't mix that much in one. You know, a long while back, a fellow boat builder, Kevin, over in Japan, hi Kevin, suggested that we buy a epoxy mixer from West System, and you know, he's probably right. That would have been great. But when I thought about it 1 minute, I already have a epoxy mixer. It's right over there. Why do I need to buy one? Now Kevin, he's building his boat by himself. What a guy. And it's almost as big as our boat. It's I think 48-foot Dix. So he's got it a lot harder. He needs an automatic epoxy mixer because he doesn't have one like me. All right, we've got all of these various things fixed all the way around, and we had a little extra epoxy, so there was a little spot upstairs that Brian went to fix that we knew about. So tomorrow we'll be able to put some more of the nav station and start assembling the table. This all had to get done before we could do that. Well, we might be taking a little field trip right now. I'm going to head over to Garhauer Marine and pick up our mainsail track, which is finally finished and ready for installation up there. So they're still working on our rest of our order of all our deck organizers and blocks and such. But I imagine I'll have that pretty soon. Now, unfortunately, they don't sell a self-tacking jib track anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. So I had to order that one from overseas, which is not a terrible thing because we have a sponsorship with Selden, and they make an excellent jib self-tacking track. So we've got it ordered from them, and that probably won't ship until December. So we'll get that end of December to January, somewhere in there. And then we can work on putting in the self-tacking jib track across the front of the top deck. And so that'll be coming along nicely. And we're also today hopefully going to start work on bilges. So continuing work on bilges. We've got a bunch of bilges pieces over here that we've all got to sand a little bit, but other than that, they're ready to glue in. It's already been filled, so we can start gluing the last of the baffles into the black water, gray water, and diesel tanks. And that means we can start putting the lids on, and that's what we'll get to later in this week as well. So lots of stuff going on, and we're moving at a good pace right now for getting my list done. Now, we haven't checked much off the list yet. That's because we're working on 12 different things at once, and all of a sudden they'll all get done and we get to check a whole bunch of things off. So, but I can see that the progress on all these different things is happening at a good pace right now, so quite happy with that. So we're making the curves that go to the inner well portion of the table that we're working on up there, the daybed conversion to table. And for the outer curves, we need this style of curve, which we've done before. And for the inner ones, though, this is inside corners, so we need to curve these like this, and they have to be smooth out to a point here so that when we lay them against the wall, they'll curve right around to the other wall, like so. So these ones are ready to go. We glue these in as we do them. So we've got those done. And we already have one of these corners, but we're missing one corner. So we're going to fix that one up so that tomorrow we can start gluing that whole table daybed together. So we're set. Brian's mixing up some epoxy, and we'll get this one done. So Brian and I have been preparing our last baffles to go in. This is the forward diesel tank, and it's got two baffles that go in here. I've moved the peel ply just in the center where we're going to glue it down. We're going to glue in these two plus the baffle that goes in the diesel tank in the middle of the boat over there as well. Gluing our shelf in here. We've got it all set, and Brian's just cleaning up right now. We also glued down the top here as well, so the desktop is now permanently on. And just a few minutes here, we're going to glue this big piece on over here. It's the back, and that's going to go on. Okay, we're going to get the seat back and the cupboard back. It's cupboard back from here and the seat back from this direction. Okie doke. Got the seat back in. Next up, we'll start gluing in the bottom boards. I see no reason not to continue our march. We're gluing in the first part of the bench for the seat. Next up will be this one, which is going to go over here somewhere. And we don't want to put that in right now because this is precarious enough. So we want to let this set up. So tomorrow we'll put this piece in, and the curved piece that goes here goes there, and then it has a wall that comes all the way over to the wall there. And we'll put that curve, that wall, and the cross piece in tomorrow. And then we'll start working on the actual seat, the top part. That's going to be, not too hard because I already measured it all, and it's going to fit in here just very close. The only thing we're going to have to modify on it is down here. Since we sloped this back, the seat was originally made to come this far back, so we're going to have to just trim off a little slice of it there. But that gives us our sloped seat that we wanted. And the distance here is 19 inches, and it's going to be 19 all the way around. So it's going to be exactly the same. So that's coming out very well. And now our nav station is pretty much done. We have to work on the electronics panel, but that's not too much work, just a little bit. And I'd say by the end of the week, this whole seating area and nav system will be basically in. Now, there's a few other customizing things that we have to do. It may not get done this week. We have to cut in the hatches in the tops of the seats that allow us to get to the storage underneath them, because that's a lot of storage down there for our food. So we have to have hatches that let us get in there. So once we get the seat right and make sure that it's sitting right, we'll figure out where the hatches are, put reinforcements underneath, and so we can drop the hatches on them. But that's coming along swiftly. Before we glue in the bench, we had to cut in all of these holes for conduits to go through. These are all the conduits right over here. And there's 5 conduits going through. The very bottom one down there is a small one. Right down there where my toe's pointing is the NEMA 2000 that will carry our network through it. The one right above that here, that's going to have diesel lines for balancing the diesel tanks on the port and starboard, so it'll be able to transfer fuel either direction. This one here is going to have our DC power lines running through it. This one's going to have our AC 110 volt power lines, and this is going to have our AC 230 volt power lines. So we needed all of those conduits running along this wall here. Hold it.
You want me to move it?
No, I got it. They run over here underneath the desk and across the wall, and then in that corner, the power will come up behind the electronics right here in the corner, and continue on through over here, because it'll be diving down below the floor above the diesel tank and running along there, and then it'll turn to go into these heads and all the way back to go to the back cabin area there, and on through actually to where the barbecue is. So all the power needs to run through there. And also the NEMA 2000, because there are through holes, sensors and things that are in certain places that they have to connect into that. And then up here, the power will go down into that conduit you see down in there, and that runs underneath the floor already over to underneath the refrigerator over there. That comes up for power to the microwaves, refrigerator, that kind of stuff. Anything up on the counter here, blenders, you name it. So that all comes up through there. So we're getting these in. We have to get it in. We had to get it all kind of prepped before we could continue. In fact, we should have done it before we glued those in, but we had enough room to get down there and fix it, so we did. But over here, we're just doing it ahead of time. So now that they're cored out and everything, what we'll do next is fill them with epoxy on the edges, and then we can glue this piece in here and the cross piece that goes over. Once that's all set up and glued to the bulkhead there, we can insert the conduits, because there's no side on the boat over there, so we can take that 10-foot long conduit and get it to go all the way through. Time to start gluing in some more of our boards. These are going to be the wall along the well and the curved piece that goes over here. Okay, so that's all in there now. We'll trace around, whoops, I'm gonna hold this the correct way. We'll trace around this to get the exact curve that we want to cut off there. And as you can see, that's where that used to stick out to, but that's why it was impacting the compression post over here. So that's how much we cut this back over, so that we have no problems with that compression post. And of course, it gives us a nice wide walkway through here, and you really weren't going to sit 2 people here anyway. Really, it's always meant to be three person table, one
2, 3. And so it'll still be just fine like that. The wall that goes in there, we don't want to put in yet. We don't want to glue it yet because it's too hard. If it goes back too far, what do we do? So we're going to cut the hatches into the access hatches to get to the storage, and then we can glue that one in when we can reach it from the other side as necessary. So we got Jeff over here cleaning up the conduit holes. Once he's got all 20 of those holes cleaned up, we'll be able to put the conduits in today. Then down below, we've got Brian, who's working on the seat itself. We've custom cut it to make it fit the way we want, and put rounded corners on the insides and the outsides there, and cord it out today. And the next thing up is we're going to fill those cord sections. So this will be set up and ready to install on possibly Monday, certainly by Tuesday. Well, we've decided to make a last-minute major change to the seating area over here. This is just a example board, but it goes all the way across here. This is where the seat would have come over. So there would have been a seat here, and here. And that would allow 3 people, one here, and one here, to sit at this little small table here. The problem with this is feet room, because you can see where my feet are. Well, the next person's feet would be here, and the other person's feet would be here. It's just not much room. It's okay for these two, but this person would have nowhere to put their feet right here because they would be wanting to be right there. And this is a very small little table. And also this leans out, so when you're sitting here, your head would be up in this direction here. So then I just thought, well, you know, why not take that out and just leave it like this and have a bench on either side and a table that's the full size of this. Because now you've got seating for 4 people, because one person could be sitting here and on the other side over there, and another person here and here. You get 4 people. You all have bricks in my way. You all have plenty of room for your feet now. You have a larger table and you seat 4 people instead of 3. And it doesn't change the daybed portion because this table still just drops down and becomes the same size daybed. So I don't know why the plans didn't have it this way. I think it was because originally in my concept model, this area was a little larger looking for the way it was configured. But by the time that Schoening fitted into the actual area, trying to do it like my concept, the table became so small and oddly shaped, like you can see here, with a weird corner on it. It just didn't really work, and I haven't liked it all along. So as we were putting this together and we got these 2 portions in, I realized, why not just make this a 4-person table with a much larger table, and then that table drops down, we have our thing. So we're quickly switching to that right now. Unfortunately, we hadn't got so far along that that's a problem because we hadn't glued this wall in right here yet. So all we're doing is taking this wall that would have been right here and just sliding it back to here to go and hide the conduits that go across here, because that doesn't get in the way of this person at all. The wall will be here. And so we didn't have to change that because we thought of this before we glued that in. So we're just sliding that over. So right now we modified the 2 seating areas to make it work for this booth style quad seating area. So it's going to be a lot nicer. So what do we lose? We lose a little bit of storage right here. There would have been a storage bin right here. And we do lose that, but we get a much nicer table, bigger table with seating for 4. So here's that new layout for the bench. So on this side over here, that stays for the port side of the bench. Remember, the access for the storage from that one is from inside the hull, so we don't have to cut a hatch in there. Now the table is this whole area that we've cut out here, and we only have to have 1 hatch to get into the storage that's underneath this bench right here. So we got this all set, and we're about to fill all the coring that goes quite a bit. It goes all the way around here, because that's out in the hull, all around there, all the way around in here, and of course the inside of the hatch. And then we have to fill the hatch over here as well. Then there's some supports over here, these four, and these are what sit underneath of here like this for the hatches to land on. They go all the way around, so there's 4 of those, but these 4 are 4. That goes underneath of this hatch right here. So we're gonna have to fill all these as well. So Brian's gonna be the mixer. He's over there mixing right now. And Jeff and I are gonna apply and smooth the stuff in here right now and get all of these done up at once. For our final job today, we're gonna get the conduits inserted in here since Jeff got them sanded out. So we're gonna give that a try right now. And so Brian's down in the bottom of the hull here. And he's going to feed those conduits right there through these holes over here. And we're going to feed them on through, all the way through down below the nav station and over there. All right, we're down to the last one. We got these 4 in, and Brian's throwing stuff down in the hull. But the last one, hopefully it'll fit. The last one we had to massage a little bit, but we got it. We got them in, but this pipe's different than this one, so we got to get a different pipe. Fortunately, our good friends at Competition Electric supplied these, and they've got more, so we need to get one that matches this other pipe down below, because you can see how this one sticks out. That means it's not reaching where it needs to reach on the other side. So we'll bring a new one in on Monday and replace that one. This wall is going to go in here, and that will hide that away and make the well like that. So that's going to do it for this week. I'm going to talk to the Admiral next and wrap up the video, but we'll get her and see what she has to say about all this.
So our goal this week was to get the nav station all glued in and to start planning and working on the daybed and table area.
Right, and as you saw in the video, we made a major change here from a small table to more than twice the size table, this whole area. And that was mostly because of feet room. As you can see, our feet don't have any problem here, nor would the next 2 people over. So we can seat 4 people here with no feet issues, where before we had all 3 people trying to get their feet into this one small area, and that was just not going to work. So we end up with a big table here, so you can put laptops and stuff on, plenty of room. You can use it for a meal, all that good stuff. And so this was a big improvement on the original design. And if you look back here, you'll see that we had a concept of the other way around, but I think in my concept model it was a little larger than it ended up in reality here. And the other thing is in the concept model, you really can't sit down and find out that there's not enough feet area down there. It's just much more difficult. Once we had these 2 sides in, and I could sit us here, and we did, we saw that there's no way that's going to be comfortable. And so this fixed everything, and there's only 2 downsides to it. We have to fare this wall now. That's no big deal. And the other one is we lost a little bit of storage right here. But the gains of a much larger table and much more feet, foot area down below there is great. So that's was our goals of the week, was to work on and getting this done. It's pretty far along. This is not glued in yet, but we'll get to that next week. And I'm not sitting on the hatch that goes here because it would fall through right now. But the lower sections, all this stuff is all glued into the floor. And all we got to do is glue the top and that side down. This one's already glued down, and this piece down. This is hiding. Sorry. All these conduits that we also got done this week, but we had to get these done before we glued all this stuff in, because it would have been much worse trying to do this while they were in. But those conduits are all there, and as I mentioned, they are for our NEMA 2000 network, our 2 diesel lines, our DC power, our AC 110 power, and our AC 230 power. So that's all going across the boat to there, and also coming over to the nav station where a lot of this is handled, as far as controls of things and such. So we had to get those in, so that's got done too. Anyway, if you stuck with us all the way through the video, airplane going by. So if you stuck with us all the way through the video, thank you for spending time with us, and we do just appreciate the fact that you guys watch our videos.
Yes, and thank you to all our patrons listed here. We could not do this project without you guys, and we appreciate you very much.
And next week, we're going to still be working on these, because what we've got to do is tab, not only glue these seats in and stuff, we got to tab it all down to the deck, because this helps support the bridge deck, because it all ties in together into the bulkhead up here, and so we're going to tab all this together. But that's not all we're going to do. We're going to get on to back to the holes and finish off the baffles and start getting our lids worked on. So we'll see you next week for that.
Wait a second, one more thing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
Right, we appreciate that. So we'll see you next week.
Bye.